Some watches exist to impress, and others exist to endure. But this one is built to do both. This is the Timex Ironman Flix Underlap, and has been around since the late 1980s. It's been on the wrist through wars, workouts, and the wilderness, and it still carries that same spirit that made Timex famous. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And at around $89 up to $129 for the special editions, this is a watch that's not chasing luxury, it's chasing reliability. And for me, I call mine all reliable, because whatever kind of day I'm having, whether I'm running an ultra marathon, I'm jumping out of planes, or I'm just hanging out with my kids, I don't have to think twice about what's on my wrist. So if you're looking for that perfect companion watch, something that can take anything you're gonna throw at it, stay with me, because the Ironman Flix might be the most dependable friend that you can buy. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Tyree and this is Wrist Unwound. And when we break down watches, we use the 10S format. We explore every watch through these lenses, from the story, specs, styles, similarities, straps, subdials, shine, shortcomings, sentiments, and a so what. This is gonna be a no hype, no dismissal review. Just the meaning behind the metal, or in this case, the resin. So let's begin with the story. The Ironman was born in the mid-1980s as a collaboration between Timex engineers and the organizers of the Ironman triathlon in Hawaii. They wanted a watch that could handle heat, sweat, shock, and salt water. A tool for endurance athletes who needed something tougher than time itself. Now, when it launched in 1986, it changed everything. By the 1990s, the Ironman wasn't just for athletes. It was on the wrist of soldiers, firefighters, and everyday people who needed gear that wouldn't quit. The Flix Underlap arrived a few years later, bringing one of the most brilliant innovations, a motion-activated Indiglo light. A flick of the wrist and the dial lights up. That's simple, practical, and pure Timex. And that toughness still matters. It's why retired Navy SEAL Jocko Willink wears his Ironman every day. And if you don't believe me, check Instagram. He posts this famous 4:30 a.m. photo before every workout. The same case, the same no-nonsense durability. This almost like a quiet ritual of discipline. Now for him, that photo isn't about a watch, it's about showing up. It's the same lesson that this little timepiece teaches us every day. And for me, this watch has been through more of a few tests of its own. I've taken it camping, running, swimming, and even jumping out of a few planes. And it's never stopped working on me. Now, if you're just here for the review, check out the timestamps, go ahead and jump ahead. But if you want to know the story, let's talk about it. So if you don't know, I'm actually in the Army. And in my prior job as an infantryman, I used to jump out of planes with the unit that I was in. Now, one of the things we like to do is we jump out over airfields, so we practice a thing called airfield seizure. Now, in this particular incident, I had always wore my Expedition North Titanium, because that was really my good luck watch. But we were doing an extended mission, so I thought I'd bring out my Ironman, just because I needed something reliable and I needed some Indiglo. So as we're getting ready to jump out of the plane, in rehearsals, I had a feeling that something wasn't gonna go right, because I was the last guy to jump out of the stick. And so static line operation, we go through the rehearsals and I say, hey, what happens if we run out of time? And the guy says, hey, I'm gonna give you the red light and then you don't need to worry about it. But I was like, okay, we'll see. We get to the flight, they're going out of the plane and I'm hearing the countdown, 10, 9, and I'm still about 8 people back. And I'm holding my static line, we're moving forward. And right when I hand off my static line to jump out of the plane, he goes, red light, red light, red light. But by this point, it was too late. So I jump out of the plane. I look down below me. Where I was supposed to land, I'm at least 100 meters past it. And all I see below me is trees. So at that point, check my canopy to make sure it opened, talked to the Lord, and began to pray. Long story short, I survived. I'm here today. I will say though, after that, I went back to my usual watch for jumping. But it survived the jump, survived the fall, and it's a really reliable watch. But thanks for indulging in the story. Let's get back to the review. So let's talk about what's really important for you guys. Let's talk about the specs. So this watch is a true workhorse. The case size is technically 44 millimeters, but it wears a lot smaller due to the curved ergonomics. For me personally, I have a wrist that's a little bit over 5.5 inches and it works perfectly. The case material is gonna be a resin, and particularly an impact resin that's ultra lightweight. Has water resistance of 100 meters, the weight is about 54 grams. Battery life is up to 10 years. Some of the functions that it includes is a 100-lap chronograph, interval timer, 3 alarms, motion-activated Flix Indiglo, 24-hour countdown, dual time zones, and when we talk about that lap chronograph, it also can calculate the average, the fastest, and the slowest. So what? Because these aren't gimmicks. This is a tool watch. made for people who need to use their tools. When you're on the trail, you're running late for a meeting, or you're jumping out of a plane, you don't need luxury complications. You need time that works, and this is a watch that delivers that without a second thought. So for chapter 3, let's talk about the style. It's not sleek, it's not shining, and that's really not the point. The Ironman Flix wears like a uniform for endurance. Has rounded corners, rubberized buttons, a screen that reads clearly in the bright sun or in total dark. And you can pick your flavor. There's a couple different variations. There's an all black tactical version. There's this all tan outdoor. There's also the classic silver. There's also 2 limited edition ones from Huckberry. So in that one, you're gonna get that same silver with a slightly different accent. They also have a different variation of the tan version with also different accents as well. Every version shares the same DNA from the original. Functional first, indestructible second. This is not a watch that's trying to impress. This is a watch that's gonna help you impress yourself and whatever you're doing next. So 4, let's talk about some of the similarities and comparisons. If you're shopping for durability, you're gonna bump into its biggest rival, which is the Casio G-Shock. So let's just use the DW5600E as our reference point. Both are gonna be digital, 100 meters of water resistant, and built like a fortress. Both can survive drops, scrapes, and sweat. But what's the difference? To me, the G-Shock is gonna feel a lot more like armor. It's heavier, it's bulkier, and it's a lot thicker. The Ironman feels a lot more like a tough second skin. It's lighter, it's faster, and it's easier to operate in a mid-run or, in other types of tasks. Both of them are gonna have similar battery life. They're both gonna have about the same ease of use, but I think the Timex wins slightly because the menus are a little bit more intuitive. For style, the G-Shock screams. The Ironman kind of whispers. And I think that whisper says, I'm not here to show off, I'm here to do the work. So it's up to you. If you prefer a bigger watch, you probably wanna go with the G-Shock. If you want something that is a little bit slimmer, lighter, and easier on everyday wear, the Ironman's gonna win out. So let's talk about the strap. The strap, soft, flexible polyurethane. I think that's how you say it, right? But what is cool about it, it's gonna be vented for airflow and it's gonna be secured with a steel buckle. It's not gonna chafe, it's not gonna slip. And unlike the resin bracelets, it doesn't pinch or crack under sweat. The longer you wear it, the more it kind of molds to your wrist. And when it gets moldy, you can just rinse it under some tap water, done. The simplicity is part of its strength because its reliability is a huge part of its selling point. Now you'll also see that some people get an aftermarket Velcro strap, to each their own. I think that's gonna get a little stinky after a while, but you could also probably wash it. You could actually just throw this in the washer and it's still gonna be good to go. Next up, let's talk about chapter 6. Let's talk about some of the stub dials and the functions. So you're gonna get a digital readout with split-second timers, dual time zone. This is not glamorous, but it's purposeful. When we go into more detail about the 100-lap memory, it's perfect for training or timing anything repetitive. Not just for sprints, but for workouts, work shifts, even prayer intervals. The Flix feature, that flick to motion, it remains one of Timex's most underrated ideas. And it's kind of innovation that makes it awesome. A couple other features that you might need is gonna be a memo feature. Under the memo feature, it allows you to save certain things, whether it be maybe a phone number, a word. So maybe you're in a test and you just need a complication or you need a formula. It's up to you what you're gonna use it for. But regardless, this watch has a lot of functionality. It's almost a smartwatch without all the notifications like an Apple Watch gives you. Next up, let's talk about step 7, the shine. So this isn't a watch that's about polish, just really honest functionality. But the screen is incredibly clear. The backlight evenly distributed and the Indiglo really feels iconic and helps you see in the dark. This is a watch that's steady, it's conforming, and it's reliable. So now let's go into chapter 8. Let's talk about the shortcomings because no watch is perfect. And even this one, as dependable as it is, that resin is definitely gonna scratch and it's gonna get beat up. And this isn't the kind of watch that you're gonna polish. So if you're looking for something that's gonna remain pristine, this is probably not for you. But if you're into hard work, I think it's gonna hold up well. Now, the 100-lap memory is great for workouts, but I do think in many ways it is an overkill for the casual user. You could get a 30-lap for a little bit cheaper if you don't need all 100. But for these flaws, I think they're really more of a sign of the purpose of the watch. So this is a watch that's meant to be lived in, not sit in a case. So it depends on what you're looking for. So let's talk about my sentiment in chapter 9. And the Ironman Flix isn't about status. It's about showing up. It doesn't ask for attention. I really think it earns it every single morning you put it on. That's what connects it to people like Jocko Willink, that everyday 4:30 a.m. post, same wrist, same photo, no caption needed. This is a watch that's just about proof that consistency builds character. And that's why this watch matters. It's not just about the course movement, it's about commitment. So now let's get to chapter 10, the so what. Why are you actually here? I think we live in a world that is obsessed with upgrades, newer, smarter, and shinier. The Ironman Flix proves that simplicity can still win, because some of the best tools in life are the ones that just keep showing up, even if you don't even feel like it. There's actually a Bible verse that really reminds me of this watch and what it stands for. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That is really the heartbeat of this watch. Persistence, faithfulness, and endurance. If you need something on your wrist that reminds you to keep moving, even when life hits hard, this is it. It's really not just a watch. I think it's a reminder to keep ticking. So on our recommendation scale, we go 1 through 7. Stop, don't do it, all the way up to sell everything but your soul. And for the Timex Ironman Flix, I give this watch a 6. And it's because not for prestige, it's for purpose. If you need a watch that's gonna do everything, this is worth selling some stuff for, because it deserves some space. But luckily for you, it's pretty affordable. So if this review helped you, please check out the affiliate link below. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it does help keep Wrist Unwound ticking. Like, comment, and subscribe if you believe that every watch deserves a story. And every watch collector has a story to tell, and thanks for spending this one with me. God bless, enjoy one of these other videos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.